Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla's latest Model Y incentives, the latest Juniper Model Y leaks, Cybertruck updates, Tesla's 100 millionth battery cell, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, one big question with EVs is how long the batteries will last over time. Maybe they have enough range today, but how long can I keep this car? Well, according to a new study, modern high-voltage batteries last years with minimal degradation. Quote, batteries in the latest EV models will comfortably outlast the usable life of the vehicle and will likely not need to be replaced. In Geotab's prior 2019 study, they showed EV batteries degrading by about 2.3% on average each year. Now their data shows this is down to just 1.8%. That's a 22% improvement, and they quote the top performing vehicles at 1% degradation per year. When looking into the future, a rate like this should mean that over 20 years, your battery should still have 64% of its life left, meaning 20-year-old EVs could still theoretically travel around 200 miles or so. There are many factors at play, but this study shows a number of positive things for EVs. Not only do they last a long time, but batteries are getting better and better each year, and lasting longer and longer. Next up today, as we approach the end of the quarter, automakers across the industry are offering up some great deals on a lot of different EVs. Prices are slashed, certain incentives are back, and lots of automakers are offering great deals with low financing. Tesla just recently rolled out the latest low-interest deal. In recent months, Tesla has been offering a 1.99% APR deal for the Model 3 and Model Y. Overall, as I've detailed in many different videos, this can save you thousands of dollars throughout ownership, and this is actually one of the best deals they've had in a very long time. You could see a $5,000 price drop on the Model Y or Model 3, and that may incentivize you to buy now. But if you are planning to finance, that is essentially what they are giving you right now, since interest rates across the industry are so high. However, that deal has come to an end, and Tesla has rolled out their latest low interest rate deal. For some, this may be even more appealing. The Model 3 and Y are both eligible for a 2.49% interest rate on 36 to 72-month loans. Now that interest rate is higher, but they are offering $0 due at signing. For people who don't want to put a lot of money down and mostly just care about their monthly payment, this is a decent way to get a new Tesla vehicle at a very good price. Additionally, you can still lower the APR down to just 1.99% if you put down at least 20% of the total asking cost for the vehicle. If you're eligible, the $7,500 federal tax credit can be used for this purpose, getting you that lower APR. This is a great deal since using the tax credit will lower the total cost of your vehicle, lower the interest rate on your loan, and in some cases you may not have to put more money down. Tesla really is pulling out all the stops right now when it comes to financing for the Model 3 and Y, and it will likely help out sales as they approach the end of this quarter. This promotional credit is seemingly only available to purchasers with excellent credit though, per their website, so that will probably lock out certain customers from this deal. What I always say here still stands. Coming up, we should see the new Juniper refreshed Model Y. That could come with a price drop, that could come with a price increase, and other things. We'll also talk in a second about how Tesla is making the new Model Y seemingly in a smaller 5-seater and larger 7-seater. However, if the Tesla Model Y offers what you want today and these APR deals make sense for you, it's never a bad time to buy. Yes, maybe around the corner something new will come out, but that technically is always happening. While Tesla's deal is certainly appealing for those looking at one of their vehicles, lots of other automakers are also offering even lower APR deals on select EVs. We'll quickly run through some of the available options and additional incentives. The Chevy Silverado EV is eligible for $1,500 in incentive cash with 0% financing. The latest 2024 Mach-E, available now with a longer range and faster charging speed, is available for 0% APR and 72-month loans. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 is available at 0% for 60 months, while the Kia EV9 is for 48-month terms. The Subaru Solterra can have 0% APR on 72-month loans, and the Volkswagen ID4 can also be purchased for this no-interest finance rate. 0% interest is something that Tesla still has yet to offer, and it's very enticing, because you are seeing no additional cost to spread out the payments of your vehicle over time. I will be curious to see if we see Tesla offer that maybe towards the end of this year for the Model Y, as customers wait for that Juniper refresh. We'll have to see though. For those who still aren't interested in financing a car purchase though, many automakers are also offering some great leases. Some of those include the VinFast VF8, Kia EV6, Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6, VW ID4, and Honda Prologue, which all can be leased for less than $300 a month with a down payment between approximately $900 to $4,000. The Kia Niro Wind EV is a particularly affordable option with a 24-month lease term of only $169 per month. In addition to those low rates, many brands are offering additional incentives which can sweeten the deal even further. For example, Kia is offering their special Tesla Conquest cash discount, which knocks $1,500 off an EV9 and $1,000 off of an EV6 for any current Tesla owners or leasees. This particular incentive makes a vehicle like the EV6 cost less to lease than a Kia Soul, even though its base price is over twice that of a Soul. Prices and deals across the industry are showing that now is a great time to buy or lease many different EV options. There are a lot of competitive options out there with many different incentives and extra deals available. I'm particularly interested to see what happens for Tesla going forward, especially when it relates to the newly leaked Model Y. Next up today, the Robotaxi unveil is the next big thing coming from Tesla. We got first leaked images of Tesla operating with what appears to be a heavily camouflaged robotaxi at Warner Bros. Studios last week, and it shows just how much prep work Tesla is doing in this regard ahead of that unveil event. Overall, we still don't expect to see the full uncovered robotaxi until that unveil, but based on what Tesla has shown us, and based on what others have speculated with, it seems we do have a decent idea of what to expect here. In any case, that's coming up in around 3 weeks' time, but the product we'll actually see released to the public first is the updated Juniper Model Y. Recently, we have seen Tesla out testing with this vehicle covered up around the Palo Alto area, and it shows Tesla getting closer and closer to its release. As far as the design of the upgraded Model Y, we're expecting it to bring all of the main features we've seen on the new Model 3, with a couple additions. First is the addition of the rear light bar, which leaked a few weeks back. This is a small but noticeable change Tesla may bring to the Model Y, and it reminds me of designs we see from others like Lexus. The light bar sweeps across and integrates into the taillights with the word Tesla written out across it. However, based on that leak, it seems like Tesla will keep their taillight design fairly similar to the Model 3, while adding that light bar that sweeps across into those lights. The other detail this leaked photo gave us relates to the position of the license plate. On the normal Model Y today, the license plate sits under the lip of the tailgate, whereas in this leak, it's flush all the way down. In fact, the rear camera is integrated right into that lip housing, and the button to open the trunk could be right in that area. Tesla has recently implemented a hands-free trunk option on most of their recent cars, but we still expect a button back here. They just may put it in a bit less obvious place, as it has been in the past. I also do like the way this rear camera is implemented because it fits right into the design. As far as that license plate change though, it does lead to a substantial difference for the tailgate. This render shows it off well, and we can see that the license plate would sit right above the housing for the tow hitch, if owners choose to install that. The Model Y tow hitch sits right in that low panel, so this positioning wouldn't interfere in any way, and of course, it couldn't if Tesla still plans to ship that option. These most recent leaks further showcase this design change though, since we can clearly see that the license plate is merely slipped into this cover. When the Model 3 Highland was spotted in the wild, the cover hid the updated taillights and the written out Tesla logo, but kept this cutout since the license plate location and rear camera stayed exactly the same. For the Model Y Juniper, however, we can clearly see a particular cutout for the rear camera, sitting a bit higher than usual, and a clear sleeve holding the plate in a normal location. These leaks all pretty much confirm that this updated design is in line with what we should expect, likely come sometime in January. Regarding that new Model Y though, in addition to an upgrade to its existing dimensions, which would likely stay incredibly similar to what we have today, Tesla is rumored to be releasing a smaller 5-seater in 2025 along with a larger 7-seater. These rumors first came from China, but now Tesla has been approved to launch a 7-seat Model Y in Europe. This could be a great sign for a larger, true 3-row Model Y, or it could mean that Tesla is simply planning to finally launch the current 7-seater Model Y out of other factories. This expands the options for the Model Y and could help sales in its current form, even with those small 3rd-row seats in the Model Y today. But most customers do expect them to need a larger car if they truly want to sell to those needing 3 usable rows. I'm personally interested to see if Tesla simply copies the Model 3 refresh for the front of this car, or if they go with something even newer, like a light bar across the front bumper, somewhat to match the Cybertruck. Either way, it will be nice to see some exterior changes to the Model Y, but the important upgrades will come with improved efficiency, leading to longer range, better ride quality, and better cabin isolation. Tesla is getting ready for a large Model Y refresh, and we'll see if it comes worldwide all at the same time, or from their Chinese factory first, like they did with the Model 3 refresh. I personally expect them to need to refresh it across the board simultaneously, and that's likely why we're seeing so many incentives at the moment. They're making it a pretty great deal to buy now, with $0 down and 2.49% APR. Come January, they may release a much improved car, but it will get rid of things like stocks, which some customers may not like, and it could see interest rates back up to 6.29% for those financing. Next up today, the Cybertruck is continuing its wide rollout with more and more customers able to finally get their hands on this groundbreaking vehicle. Production is ramping pretty smoothly, and deliveries are reaching new highs all the time. The latest data from this last few months shows that this truck is not only doing well, but outperforming the entire electric pickup market. In the month of July, the entire EV segment grew by approximately 18%, with cars like the Honda Prologue and even the niche Cybertruck giving the market a boost. Even though they are still the market leader in EV sales, growth rates for Tesla have been stagnant over the last few months. In July, the automaker broke their slump a bit, seeing registrations increased by 1.2%. Some of their growth came in part due to increased Cybertruck sales, which hit a new high of 5,175 units delivered. That represents a 61% month-over-month growth rate for deliveries of that particular vehicle. That growth is very impressive, but doubly so when you compare it to the other trucks on the market. During the same month, all other EV pickups sold a cumulative 5,546 units, barely beating just the Cybertruck on its own. Although many people have a lot of differing opinions on the Cybertruck, sales show that Tesla is doing a good job of reaching their target audience with this vehicle, and it is a popular option. This truck is not only selling well here in the States, but is finally starting to see its first deliveries in another country. Tesla is preparing to deliver the first Cybertrucks down in Mexico. These will be the first of these vehicles to reach customers in another country besides the US. It's exciting to see this truck popping up in other countries, as it means the ramp up is proceeding smoothly. Canada is up next for the Cybertruck after Mexico and is expected to start deliveries in about a month. It's pretty amazing to see that in such a short time, the Cybertruck is not only selling well, but outselling every other electric truck on the market. It's competing with trucks like the F-150 Lightning and the Rivian R1T, which have been on the market for a couple years at this point. This truck is proving a popular option, and we're seeing more and more of them appear on the streets across the nation and soon the world. The other crazy thing to consider is that this truck starts at $100,000 today. Tesla has not sold a cheaper option yet. So once they finally introduce the non-foundation series, starting at $80,000, and then the rear-wheel drive, starting under $70,000, and likely eligible for a federal EV tax credit, the Cybertruck should see continued sales growth. Next up today, Tesla has long partnered with a number of different battery manufacturers across the world to produce the cells which power their lineup of EVs. Simultaneously, the company has been building up their own internal battery production capabilities for a while, although the ramp-up was not without issues. As of just recently, the company announced that they have produced their 100 millionth internally developed battery cell. Starting in 2020, Tesla announced that they would begin producing their own proprietary 4680 battery cells to power the next generation of their vehicles. The ramp-up was definitely difficult, but the company seems to have found a bit of a stride since then. In February of 2022, Tesla announced that they had produced their 1 millionth battery cell out of their pilot plant in California. Since then, production has shifted to Giga Texas, which is now the manufacturing home of these cells. In June of 2023, they announced that they had produced their 10 millionth cell, and now only 14 months later, the company announced that they just crossed the 100 millionth cell produced threshold. That's a huge acceleration in production growth, which is very exciting to see. Each cell contains approximately 100 watt-hours of energy storage, which means that Giga Texas has produced 9 gigawatt-hours of storage in just 14 months. That is enough to power about 60,000 Cybertrucks. They announced this milestone with a post on X showing an Optimus robot holding a cell marked with 100 million printed across it. Based on recent reports from Tesla, Optimus has actually played a role, albeit limited, in the production of recent 4680 cells. When you think about all of the amazing innovations happening at Tesla behind the scenes, it's fascinating to think about the future of their battery production. Optimus is only playing a small role right now, but could eventually do a lot to increase production to even bigger highs. Simultaneously, Tesla is working on the next generation of these batteries with dry-coated cathodes. This new method greatly simplifies current production processes and could make future batteries denser, cheaper, and more efficient. Thus far, Tesla has had some difficulties making their own batteries at a large scale and as cheaply as they would like. Internally, the 4680 team has reportedly been given a deadline to meet those goals by the end of the year, and it seems like they could be on course to do so. The future of this program is very exciting to witness, and I can't wait to see how it progresses from here. Of course, Tesla will still expand with their suppliers all around the world, but this ensures Tesla's success going forward. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. At Renault, they have unveiled an R17 electric resto mod that looks very, very cool. This is based on the 1970s 17 Fastback Coupe, and it has 270 horsepower, LED lights, and very great styling. This car could be a hint at what the future holds for vehicle design. I think a lot of people like these designs when we see them, and this interior especially looks incredible. Of course, it's a very specific thing though, and when scaling up future vehicles, you kind of have to focus on what many people like if you want to scale it up and make it somewhat affordable. So will this interior ever actually come to production? Likely not, but I would love to see it. The thing is that with EVs in the future, and with many things being controlled by screens, options like this do become a little more realistic. That's because EVs do allow a lot of adaptability for vehicle designs, especially since the battery is on the floor and can be much safer. At the same time, software allows you to change up screens. So you could design a car with screens that the average person maybe uses in a more typical way, and then it has options to change that interface to something else like this. I personally would love to see this vehicle come to production, but we'll have to see. Over at Lucid, they have officially unveiled that their Gravity SUV will be their first to feature standard NACS. NACS is the Tesla charging connector that is pretty much better than CCS in every single way, and that's why most automakers are switching over to it. Here there will be no adapter required to use Tesla superchargers, and in the future this will just become standard in North America, which is great to see. All cars are going this way, and we've recently seen Hyundai unveil the Ioniq 5 that will feature this plug, so this is great to see from Lucid. In the past, Lucid was resistant to changing over to NACS, but now it's become clear that they really just need to do it. Everyone's doing it, and it makes the supercharger network that much easier to use for their customers. As for the upcoming Gravity, they claim that this will be the best SUV ever, and that it will start under $80,000. A lot remains to be seen there, and Lucid still loses a lot of money on their cars, but this Gravity could be extremely popular. After the Gravity, they do plan to make more affordable EVs, hopefully coming by late 2026, and they've shared their first peek at what that model could look like. This first one is a rival to the Tesla Model Y and seems to share a pretty similar shape. It will feature their new cost-efficient Atlas drive unit and should be a great competitor. Lucid still has a long road ahead to profitability, but they do have things locked down when it comes to motor efficiency. They have delivered the longest range EVs out there, and they do it by making them extremely efficient, which is great. Over at Rivian, the 2024 R1T was a top safety pick plus by IAHS. In fact, it was the only BEV in its segment that got that award. This is a big deal because Rivian is a new company and they are delivering some of the safest vehicles out there. It was one of only 31 vehicles entirely selected for this award. When you compare this to, say, the Cybertruck, we are actually just still waiting on Cybertruck safety testing from these organizations. Many people think that the Cybertruck is going to be dangerous for passengers inside, while many others who follow Tesla and know about their focus on safety assume that it will be incredibly safe. I'm very curious to see what the future holds there, and if the Cybertruck ends up getting one of these awards as well, once it's finally tested by these agencies. In any case, it's exciting to see even the newest companies delivering some of the safest vehicles that you can possibly purchase. It adds to the growing list of ways that EVs can be better than equivalent gas vehicles. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see my full review of the Kia EV9, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.